that are up here with everyone. So if you'd like to kind of look at them while we're talking for a moment, that would be perfectly fine. We're going to go in just a moment. I'm going to show you 3 different AIs, one with Google and 2 outside of there. So I'm not necessarily going to pull any of these up, but I do want you to know that they're available and then have the option to use them. So those links are in the chat. So as Hoshida just showed us, AI is transforming really how we experience the coastal regions, how we protect the coastal regions, and also thrive. You know, her point about making an itinerary is pretty awesome. You know, and marketing, that's something that I didn't even think about when preparing this. I was thinking more of like outreach, but definitely for marketing as well. One of the things I do on a volunteer basis or pro bono basis through Catch a Fire is creating for nonprofits, some local, some otherwise, that creating for them sort of a cheat sheet of ways that they can integrate easy to use, user friendly AIs into their particular platforms, you know, creating it as she discussed for us. But it's, you know, for monitoring ocean health, preparing for disasters, all of these tools, and these are just some of them. There's no way we could cover all of them. These are some of the innovative tools that harness AI's power for our particular interest. For environmental well-being, the Global Fishing Watch combats illegal fishing. Projects like Steam Ocean provide real-time marine monitoring, similar to what we were just shown. And then Google's ocean data forecasting is a relatively new platform that can predict further in advance weather disasters and just improve weather prediction accuracy in general. On the for municipalities can leverage AI through like smart sea level sensors, which can do flood tracking. The Georgia Climate Project, an amazing site, by the way, also has disaster prep tools that use AI and coastal resilience mapping, which can assess community vulnerability. So if we wanted to see who in our community is really going to be impacted if the sea rises 1 foot, there's tools as well for that. In our community, code.org has AI for oceans. I actually went through this as an educator myself. They provide, you explore for the AI for oceans specifically, you can learn about AI, machine learning, trading data, AI bias, while exploring ethical issues and how AI can be used to address world problems like, you know, climate change and changes that will inevitably come with as things continue to change as in the direction that they are. I love that site. And then resources like AI for Sustainable Oceans can help elevate our coastal tourism experiences. So I definitely encourage, if anyone's thinking of any others, feel free to unmute yourself and share them here. If you yourself are in an organization addressing anything related to the coast, we would love to know what those are, because like I said, this is nowhere near all of them. So I think I would like to go ahead and start on our demo if we can. And yeah, so I had to choose 3. I mean, I guess I could have chosen less than 3, but you know, to show you, I don't want to spend too much time just showing you things. So let me put these links that I have that we may get pulled up here in the chat. And then Ariana, if you could share that first one, and I put it there in the chat for convenience, from NOAA, the sea level rise viewer. Can you pull that up on and share the screen just for those who are not able to do it right this second?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. we had another question for Ashita. If you'd like to just hop in the chat and read this question and either address it there or interrupt us and address it for everybody, that would be amazing. So I don't know if any of you have seen the sea level rise viewer. As of yet, this is very cool to me. And again, link is in the chat. If you'll just click get started, and I'll show you this how easy this is to use for anybody. We have not run through this yet. I don't think Ariana has any idea how to use this, but I'm going to show you. So right up in the top where it says enter an address, just enter Brunswick, Georgia, Ariana. Yep. Okay. So over on the left, then this tool has tons of other capabilities, but just for time's sake, over on the left, yeah, that's good. So zoom in so we can see like a specific area. Just, okay. This is in Brunswick, right? Back it up just a little. Look where we can see the ocean as well. Okay. I can't read that small. Can anyone tell what these little, if you see like a specific area, I can't see that tiny. If you see like the name of an island somewhere, or maybe that's a better idea. Instead of Brunswick, type in St. Simons. This would be a smaller area. Yeah. Yeah, St. Simons, Georgia. Perfect. Okay. Now, so just, you can just zoom in just a smidge to that. Yeah, that's fine. And then scroll down a little. Yeah, right there. Perfect. Okay. Now over on the left is sort of the viewer, if you will. To the left of the screen is like a little ruler that shows us sea level rising based on how much rise there is. So let's start at like 1 foot, Ariana, just because like just as a, yeah. So go back down to 0 and then scroll up to 1 foot so we can see. Okay, so you can see a few areas start to be covered with water, and then go on up to 2 and 3. And then just take it all the way up to 6 feet, which is what's predicted by 2100. So when I first messed with this, it made me a little concerned, obviously, because I'm able to, where I live, like if you put in your actual address, you can see at what level of sea rise you would be impacted. And, even if we don't all live to the end of the century, even just in the next 50 years, as I mentioned, the DNR is saying we're absolutely going to have between 3 and 6 feet of sea level rise. So whether we address it or don't address it, we're going to be impacted one way or the other. Does anyone, again, you all have the links, and I encourage you to just explore this. Does anyone have any questions about this specific one, or does anyone have any initial reactions? Does this alarm you in the way that it did me? Ariana, have you messed with this at all yet? And
no, this is my first time, but this is pretty crazy to see.
Right. It's pretty wild. So like if you go up to 10 feet, which is beyond what we're supposed to have, but just scroll it up some so we can see. Yeah. So that's not ideal, obviously. So all of these efforts, all of the groups that I've mentioned that are participating in sustainability efforts, it is needed. Our community really, it is necessary for us to come up with solutions, and people are. So we just want to be a part of that. I'm not gonna, the next one is the Drawdown Georgia emissions tracker. We don't have to pull that up necessarily just for the sake of time, but you can if you want, Ariana, while I'm talking. The Drawdown Georgia website and emission tracker uses AI to help drive climate solutions for our state. And the tracker visualizes real-time greenhouse gas data, which helps us to see in a easy to read chart it helps us to measure our progress in cutting those emissions. And as a coastal resident myself, I'm passionate about this because rising atmospheric carbon levels are a major driver of that sea level rise that we just saw, as well as ocean acidification and other threats to our coastlines. So by accelerating the transition to clean energy, sustainable transportation, and regenerative agriculture, among other things, we can drastically reduce Georgia's carbon footprint. So you can see that little, the data there at the bottom. And that's just one view. You can click at the bottom, you can put in your specific region, and then you can click through to visualize in different ways, as well as help predict future impacts. If this happens, then what would happen in this case? What if we did this? Another area I want to point out there is, and we don't have to go into it right now, but there's a land sinks section that highlights how protecting our salt marshes, our wetlands, how we can allow these ecosystems to absorb and store excess carbon. So tools like these ensure that we take an evidence-based and transparent approach to safeguarding our coast for future generations, so that the changes that are happening, we have the data to visualize them and present them to our communities to show how they themselves might be impacted or their businesses might be impacted in just a plethora of ways. And then lastly, I wanted to show the part of Google AI's test kitchen, which these links are also in the bottom. Will you share the labs.google link, Ariana? And then I'm going to show a quick video that I made using one of these and show you all how easy it is as well. Okay, that's the wrong one. My bad. Just click the YouTube video there and just don't play it yet, if you don't mind. Google's AI test kitchen, known as Labs, is a showcase of their latest experimental tools and technologies in the field of AI. It's a place where you can kind of get a sneak peek at the future of AI and even try out some of these cutting edge innovations yourself. From Gemini, that AI assistance that's integrated into workspace apps, to Image FX that can generate images from text prompt. I already mentioned the music thing. The lab offers a glimpse into the creative possibilities that are unlocked by these AI models that Ashita has talked to us about. But one particular experiment that really caught my eye is Google Vids, which it's not available to everyone just yet, I don't believe. It's still an experimental feature, but it aims to democratize storytelling through video. And so this could be used for marketing, community education. Just anything that you could imagine. And as you'll see, this program can take your idea, generate a storyboard, pull in relevant video clips and images from stock libraries. You can add voiceovers, background music, and you can edit it all collaboratively. It's the same as any other Google collaborative, like Google Slides or Google Docs. It can be, you can edit it all together to produce a polished video. And as I mentioned, it's easy to be personalized as well. All just using generative AI. And I went ahead and created, when I started playing with it, several videos that are on our YouTube channel, which I'll share that link at the end as well. But this can empower educators, students, nonprofits, and businesses to easily create engaging video content without needing any kind of extensive training or resources. So if you just click play on that, it's about a minute long, I think. You can Sorry, I don't know how to. It's fine. So this was created. I created this by typing in to the platform, create a video about AI for coastal living, how we can enhance our communities with smart technology. And then I put in, specific to the Golden Isles, but it's literally just one sentence that you put into this platform. And this is largely the video as it was created. What you don't see on the back end of this is it also produces a script for each slide, which you can record yourself speaking yourself, or you can choose from all different kinds of voices, which sound incredibly real, and input those voices speaking there instead, like I said, or use your own voice. I think the only thing extra I did here was add our logo maybe somewhere, but that was really it. I just left it as it was to kind of give everyone an idea. And in the chat, the link that starts with workspace, you can read more about this feature there if interested. And let me share this playlist with everyone now, and you can just go ahead on to the next slide while I'm doing this, so that you guys can see some of the other videos. And if you have any questions at all about that, I'm happy. I have myself just started experimenting with it. But I'm happy to answer any questions, or if anyone after, is like, I really want to use this, but I don't know how, I am more than happy to help anyone with that. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time listening to Ariana talk to us about responsible AI as we're thinking of all of these things, because it is important, using AI to produce things like videos and images and all of that is great, as long as there is human input as well. And we're considering all of the factors that we're going to talk about here. So I'll put the link to our YouTube playlist in the chat, and then take it away, Ariana.
Thank you, Naomi. Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to be discussing for our last section, responsible AI use and ethics.
Will you turn the volume back up just a little bit, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you hear me all right? Yes, no.
Yes, that's perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So in case you guys missed my name is Ariana. I'm a freelance journalist based in DC, and my stories typically focus on AI policy and education, and most recently in sustainability practices. And today I'm going to be talking about the importance of AI literacy and how it can benefit individuals and our coastal communities. So I know as a student, AI was introduced to my world a little earlier. And from an educational standpoint, it was not always seen as it was initially not seen as a positive development, and feelings are still shaky about it now. Many of my teachers discouraged me and said things like, if you use ChatGPT, I will know, and you're going to get a 0, and things like that. And I always thought to myself, how can something that be so helpful to me be so frowned upon? So this brings me to my first point, whereas understanding the risks and dangers of AI is the first step in actually using it as a tool, whether in a professional workspace or a personal one. It's all about maximizing the benefits while also minimizing those risks, right? So let's talk about those risks and downsides. For one, the environmental impact is huge, as you all know. Naomi showed us that wonderful map that did not show some wonderful things. And so the environmental impact is huge. And to train certain popular and large AI models, it would require 626,000 pounds of carbon dioxide, or the equivalent of 5 times the lifetime emissions of an average car. So the AI industry is expanding rapidly, And as a whole, the industry is predicted to reach 14% of the total global emissions by 2040. So, what does this all mean for our coastal communities? Can anyone share any specific examples? Has this impacted your community in any way? Feel free to put that in the chat or just unmute. I'll give like 30 seconds. I think that's fair.
Will you repeat that question?
Yeah, of course. So basically, what does this all mean? Like what I just said, what does this all mean for coastal communities? And can anyone share any specific examples of how AI can negatively impact our coastal communities? Feel free to put that in the chat.
Now my brain is working and I'm trying to think of like a specific example. Are you going to share a specific example with us?
Well, besides sea level rise, and obviously like job displacement, I wasn't going to share any other specific ones. I was just kind of hoping someone was going to.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, yeah. I mean, a simple idea would be like we use AI to create itineraries and it creates places for them to go that that don't exist. You know how, I don't know if any of you remember using MapQuest back in the day and how it would make you drive into like empty fields sometimes and tell you you've arrived at your conference. Those are kind of low level ideas, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's move on. But we know there are downsides, and it does have a huge negative impact on the environment. But there's ways to mitigate those, and to also be aware of the current applications of AI to protect our coastal communities. And there are some, and ones that are developing. But one of the ones that I personally research into is coastal monitoring devices and software that can process and analyze the collected data in real time, and for coastal management and conservation efforts. So one that I found is called iBeach. And here, I'm going to share my screen in just a second, but here's the link if anyone wants to explore it on their own. Give me 1 second. So here is, so basically they put monitoring cameras that kind of capture the, like it's called beach profiling. And so, yeah, so it's a really great device, but obviously not every community knows about it and can implement it, but it's really cool. And it's just one of those ways that AI can help in terms of environmental impact. So yes. And yeah, so does anyone know of any other AI-driven solutions currently being implemented or developed for coastal protection? Naomi, do you know of any?
I mean, my gosh, there's so many.
There's so many,
I'm,
but I feel like maybe,
yeah,
in Brunswick and all.
I'm actually have been thinking of starting for our community like a Padlet maybe, or some other collaborative thing where individuals that are local in the community can add those kinds of things. Like, so we could have a compilation because there's not just one website you can go to see all of them, you know? So I will do that and share with everybody. I keep saying I'm going to, because there's just tons of them.
Yeah. There are a lot, and I encourage everyone to go and explore those. But so also on a personal and individual level, not just thinking, big community outreach, big actions, we can also just start small. So thinking of yourself as not just a user of AI, but as also a producer. And yes, there are those high-tech solutions, but there's also solutions that you can implement one person at a time. And 3 important things to remember when using Gemini, or any other large AI model. is to not use it passively and to engage with it actively. And organize information in your prompts beforehand before putting it into the application, and kind of just be aware and mindful of the environmental impact that it does have. So community outreach is also obviously a big one, making sure that the community and those around you are also aware of those negative impacts. And Georgia is a really big state. Obviously, there's other coastal communities, but it composes of 538 cities. So if one person from one of these communities reached out to discuss like AI literacy or the impact on the environment that AI has, there could be a huge change across the state and across other coastal communities as well. So talking about public and private partnerships, like I know Georgia Tech has a Less Waste, More AI fellowship that is in collaboration with Partnership for Inclusive Education, Inclusive Innovation. And they are a huge driving sustainability organization based in Georgia that work on AI technology um, to for sustainability solutions. So I encourage all of you guys to also check that one out. It's called Partnership for Inclusive Innovation, and they are offering AI fellowships right now. So also, if you guys are interested in, in AI literacy and kind of gaining those skills and that information, Google AI for Everyone is a course on edX. It's a self-paced 4-week free course that covers a variety of topics, including machine learning principles and real-world applications. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just one more time to show you guys what that looks like, if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I actually, something in my house is beeping. I have no idea what it is, so just ignore that. I just shared actually an AI that I thought of that I didn't share here. Pam Pam AI. I made a map. It's an interactive map. It's free. It's super cool. Check it out. I made one. All the businesses are not in the right categories necessarily, but and then I'm also going to share the Google AI Essentials course, because until August 5th, you can go through this course, the Google AI Essentials, and get a certificate at no cost. So just a heads up, that's a good way to gain literacy as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. This is also just one of those other options. It is free. It's self-paced, as 4 weeks. It started already the 22nd, but I think there's still time to participate in it. But here are just like the range of things that it has, like all the information that you could learn. So for this one, unfortunately, to get a certificate, you do have to pay a certain amount of money. But it's still, you can still learn the information for free. So yeah, so that's just a little bit. That's a fun little thing that I found that hopefully will be helpful to you guys. But I hope you learned something, and thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Let's we're going to be getting close to wrapping up here. So let's go on to, I just have like maybe 1 or 2 slides left. Or maybe we're done. Can you go back one more? I think.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I just got lost because
okay. Yeah. No, it's good. So yeah, these are just our. We'll share these slides with everyone who came, first of all. Afterward, along with your, you'll get a digital badge for attending. So I will share all of that with everyone. But essentially, kind of to summarize, AI is not going anywhere. And so utilizing it for sustainability practices and figuring out how we can leverage this locally is a good thing. Teamwork is key in our group specifically, because the GDG group is accessible to all levels. You don't have to have any developer knowledge or any of that stuff to join, but we do have access to Google experts like Ashita and so much more through the group. So having everyone's collective insight is important. And people are already, as we've seen, there's so many AI applications that are already being used for sustainability. And then the overall recommendations here is I do encourage investing time into AI literacy, as she said. And this is something just like any other type of literacy, if you think of like digital literacy, it's like using your smartphone, there's things we have to learn as we go. It's not a destination really that we're trying to reach. It's more of like just a journey of continuous learning. And then I would like to ask everyone to just sort of like, as you're going through your work week, consider the AI applications that we already use. Like when I was muted a second ago, my Alexa started reminding me of an event I had later, So for those that are apprehensive about using AI, think of the ways that it's sort of already involved in what you and our children and our businesses are already using. And feel free to unmute, ask any questions needed here. We can go on, I think, to the last slide if you'd like. Yeah. And then, every interaction, every image, every question adds to our cumulative environmental impact. And this is true in both our day-to-day, like physical lives, but also as we kind of talked about, as Ariana talked about, using AI also takes energy and adds to the cumulative impact. So considering sustainable ways to use AI too is already in the works. So those are also just kind of just some other area to think about. And then I think, do we have on our last slide just our, I think we have our QR codes, and I have included, there's a lot of awesome links in the chat. We will compile those and share them with everybody, along with, as I mentioned, you'll get a digital badge also, which I really like this. So I would just like to open it up to anyone who has questions, comments, concerns, ideas, while you're kind of getting your mind there. I want to talk for a quick second about the last poll question that we asked. What opportunities or consideration does Google's AI plans and platforms spark for you? And we did get a few responses. One was getting local government involved, and I think that's a great idea. Governments are often, sometimes behind on their website design and stuff, just because of how government works. But yeah, I think definitely presenting some of these things to local government and their usage would be super helpful. Another suggestion was creating a new original idea or tech to help someone else or some other organization. That is an awesome idea, and all of these tools that we've shared here can do that. You don't have to think just in terms of like creating an app necessarily, just creating outreach material even. Someone else mentioned somehow helping locals understand the impacts of climate change and also understand the opportunities. Absolutely. The vids, I think, would be something of use there. And then someone else mentioned, just as a comment, that AI helps them to, in their personal and business, helps to aggregate data and gain useful insights very quickly. That is also absolutely true. And I hope that some of these links end up being helpful for you all in figuring those things out. Please, we're going to be emailing you all after this, as I mentioned, but these are the QR codes to connect with me and Ariana, as well as our GDG group. And my virtual door is always open, if you will. I would love to hear from anyone who's visited or who's attended today. Any useful information that you think would be good for us as we're scheduling further events and creating new products. If there's things that you can think of, even just like if you have a super cool idea for an AI, share it. We could present it to Google In fact, they've told me that, if you have a super cool idea for something, share it. We'll see, if Google thinks it's worth developing. Wouldn't that be amazing? Reach for the stars, if you will. Okay, so me and Ariana are going to hang out here for a few minutes. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to hang out. And otherwise, thank you all for coming, getting done about 15 minutes early, which is awesome. And we will be connecting with you soon.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Carol. I'm muting because of this beeping. Thanks, Rhonda. Thanks, Mark. Glad you all were here.